Hello, people. Once again, we are going to be talking a little bit about Desmos. And so, last video, we discussed how to make an animation by introducing a time parameter or a changing parameter actually in the Desmos app. So, we're gonna use that changing parameter here to see what happens when you introduce it to a given function. For example, well, if you remember, I told you you didn't really have to give any particular name to the parameter. So today I like the letter A, and we're gonna tell this guy that A is 1. So that immediately tells it that A is a parameter, and in this case we're going to change that parameter from 0 to 10 in steps of 1 unit. And now we haven't really drawn anything. I'm just gonna put it so that it goes forward all the time. And so since we haven't drawn anything yet, let's make it a function, a linear function specifically. And how do you tell this function that you have a parameter? Well, let's say that it's 1.5x plus a. That's not a. Plus a. And so as you can see right now, a has a value of 0. So your function is simply 1.5x. But if you make it play around, this is what happens. The function is actually being transformed by adding first a 1, then a 2, then a 3, up to 5. You can see here, if you look at it a little bit closer, that it's moving in steps of 1 unit, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. So it gets a little tiring after a while, but you can make some modifications to it. You can, for example, tell it that you don't want any y-intercept. Instead, you want a to be the slope. And if a is the slope, then your graph looks like this at the beginning. And the slope can be changing from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3 to 5, etc. You can actually make it go a little slower. And let's make it in projector mode so that it's more noticeable. So, of course, some other funnier things happen if you take more interesting functions. Say, for example, that you want to change the parameter a from negative 10 to positive 10, and that your function is a parabola instead of a line. Then this multiplying parameter does quite some interesting things. See what happens when the parameter is negative, and then see what happens when it's positive. Let's make it a little smaller. Say from negative 3 to positive 3 in steps of 0.05. And look at it go. So as you can see, this parameter defines a family of functions. They are all parabolas. They can be thinner or wider because what it's doing is a compression of the function. So you can actually see that these parameters can make transformations of functions very easily. And if you play with them a little bit, you can find many different things that happened with this parameter. Bye bye.